But the
We're
G Play
live.
podcast
Wow,
somewhere.
we're live. Wow. Wow.
I'm not.
We can be.
And that is the loudest sound ever. No. No. It's all right.
Since when do we have captions?
They're auto-generated by...
Yeah. Then when did that start?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Should learn to read, I guess.
They're auto-generated by Facebook, I think.
The books. Of the faces.
The book of faces.
That needs to go in the fridge.
We got some people's... I don't know who because I... Oh, there it is. What's up?
Troy, Mike. Mike wasn't first.
No.
You suck, Mike.
He has been...
Wow, you're slacking,
He has
man.
been slacking lately.
That needs to go in the fridge.
When he's going to fridge?
That.
Oh, yeah. Get that in the fridge.
There's a little. At least maybe one or two in the fridge.
Or out on the out in the yard. Good to see you last night, Mike. It was so good. It was all good.
How was that?
It was good. It
Yeah?
was real good. My shoulder hurt this morning from throwing axes. Axes, not X's. It was good.
Don't worry, guys. The beer will be cold.
I'm not worried.
You're never worried.
No, I don't worry about things. Yo, Ron, what's happening? Good evening. Yeah, well, there are some things that try to stop the podcast, but right now, snow, rain, and locust is not on the list.
Not. Well, they might get stranded here. So, Ron, you might have to come assist in the rescue to
I'm not
get
getting
them out.
stranded anywhere, dude.
You can choose to get stranded anywhere you want.
650 horsepower. I'm making it at home.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I have to go unrescue my daughter
Where's your daughter?
over at a friend's house.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, she was over there before the snow, and I have to go get her. Yeah. But anyway,
You don't plan ahead.
no. Well, I could have gone and get her and not come to the podcast.
Oh, sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah. So I chose to come here,
Okay.
hang out with my boys
That
for a little
works.
bit,
Yeah.
drink a beer or 7,
Okay. Don't do that.
and then go get the kid.
4-wheel drive.
I didn't put it in coming here.
Oh, I put it in on the way home, let me tell you.
Did you?
Well,
Well, in the truck you
In the
have
truck.
to. Yeah.
it's a different
It
scenario.
literally, the first flake hits the ground, that
It
thing has
won't.
to go into four-wheel
No,
drive.
it handles pretty well. It's just a matter of
Oh, we have the mayor on with us tonight. This has made my day.
Oh,
Look at that.
you mean steal my forest, Borzy?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Sorry. In all your all the family traditions.
Dude, really? Those people, their family traditions,
Oh, wait,
including their sister
Of illegally
and-
hunting, of
Yep.
using land that they're
And-
not
and
oh, wait.
dumping.
Oh wait, Dave is giving them access to areas that are, it gives back to the community. All I see is good things coming out of that man,
Yeah.
Giving back to the community, giving
Yeah.
back to the
He's a beautiful
schools,
man.
providing jobs to the community. Oh wait, I bet some of those people he probably employs the grandkid or something.
there's nothing he can't do.
No,
That guy's amazing.
He is the Shamokin Superman.
he
mayor.
really is. And I love him. I love everything he does.
Absolutely.
And I love that park too.
Yep.
It is the deal.
And it just keeps growing and getting bigger. The course should be done. The rock course should be done this summer, right?
May.
Yeah.
I hear early May.
Nice.
Yeah.
Before Holly gets here.
That's all that matters.
I'm in contact. Don't worry.
got
Got that shit
got
on wraps.
Got it on lockdown.
Got that on wraps.
How's everybody doing tonight? We got a good crowd on here. Go ahead and take a moment to share this out. I don't think I'm going to go down our list of partners tonight. We need to figure out 2022
Some
and
stuff.
and if they want to.
I mean, I would like to talk about Armor Light. Just
Yeah.
let me give a shout out.
All right, go ahead.
Armor Light, holding up well. All this weather that we're getting, the salt.
Yeah.
Lots of salt being thrown everywhere, Ski area I'm going to work.
Yeah.
Just at the house, dirt, mud, gravel, snow, mix, everything. Get in the Jeep, even though it's in the garage right now. But still.
No, I definitely.
Absolutely. It's just a great product, and
I'm
can't say
sure it
enough
is. I
about
just
it.
haven't had my Jeep outside and
I haven't had my Jeep out of the garage in,
Yeah.
oh, wait, how long?
Mine's outside right now.
Blown up transfer case is back together, guys.
Is it?
It is.
Nice.
I
But
spun
it's not
it.
in the. It's not in the Jeep.
I spun it.
Yeah.
Are they kind of difficult to spin when you rebuild them?
might be a little bit. It should be all right.
I
I mean, how
mean,
difficult?
Like,
Can you turn it by hand still?
I can still turn it by hand. It's just
It'll be all right.
it's
yeah.
tight.
Yeah.
But like I put a ratchet on it, like a 1/2 inch, and it I can move it all the way around pretty
Put it on.
easy. That's what I thought.
Put it on. Make it go round.
I also may have had to pound off the casting of the oil pump.
Mhm.
I think it pushed the output drive into the oil pump so much that it wore
Yeah.
away on the casting.
Yeah.
So I had to pound that off. That was a lovely process, let me tell you.
You know, it'd be awesome next time. 4-1.
Right? Just if you're there, you might as well.
Well, I was thinking about it, but I don't think they make a 4-to-1 replacement
No,
drive.
just get
for...
the 241 OR.
Yeah, that's $1,900,
You got that.
or a whole lot more than that.
Matter of fact, just laying around.
yeah.
Hey, let me just pull that out of my ass real quick.
Listen, we'll give you $100 out of Patreon. That knocks it down to $1,800. You're good.
Okay.
All right. I really. Well, since I said that we weren't going to do our partners, I lied, because I love my pipes exhaust.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds amazing until I'm behind you in your fucking Cadillac. That thing like literally moved my Jeep when you pulled away.
Yeah, that thing's wicked.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spinning all 4 tires
Yeah.
instantaneously.
Yeah, it's
But my dad has this thing. So for everybody out there, it actually belongs to my dad, and he has this thing with building really fast, heavy shit. The last thing was
It's a sled, man.
it's 6,500 pounds, but
It's a
but before that, it was a
straight-up
3,500 dually Duramax. It had a bank 6 gun on it, sumo suspension, 24-inch Rixson wheels. And we used to joke around. We used to call it was like a Corvette with GMC on the front.
yeah,
So
right.
he just likes he just likes heavy, fast shit, and that's it.
I don't know. That's stupid, man.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a lot of fun.
I like it. Yeah, you look pretty badass in it too. Let me tell you.
I know. That's me all the way.
Yeah, I expected you to get out with a black button-up shirt buttoned all the way up to the top.
How about it?
All right, what do you think? Is it time to go? I think it's time to go.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Jeep Life Podcast. We're that podcast where we celebrate that Jeep life. We live that Jeep life. We do everything Jeep life. And, man, we get to live that Jeep life right now because it's snowing. It's snowing like
It's a little bit.
just a little bit.
Just a wee bit.
Yeah, it was funny because I went out and there was no snow. I went out a few minutes later. There's lots of snow.
There's a lot of snow.
And it's good slick snow too.
Yeah, I was up in the mountain today, and it was like great all day long, and then all of a sudden went into the lodge and may have had a beverage
Yeah, right.
before I made the trek home because skiing's a long day. But then all of a sudden walked outside and white stuff's falling from the sky.
Nice.
It was great though.
But you made it home safe.
Oh, absolutely.
There's nothing better than
But I wasn't
being on the mountain when it's actually snowing.
Unfortunately, Big Red's in the garage.
It's still in the garage. They're still doing transfer case.
It's been a long week.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't had a minute and a half to work on it. So, Friday night, a good buddy, Jason, shout out to Jason Campbell out there, came over. We, put our noggins together and maybe used some sledgehammer and some persuasion and put the transfer case back together.
Nice. Well, good. Well, I hope that it's back in the Jeep soon and everything is up and running. I'll give you a week.
Let me tell you, when you start filling the transfer case with ATF4, make sure the plug.
I was just gonna say the drain plug.
Not so much the drain plug. It's the vent plug on the top side of it.
Oh.
Make sure it's not upside down.
And pointing at you.
And pointing at the bottom. So when you start pouring ATF4, it just doesn't come out the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, lesson learned.
Oh, quickly. There's a lot of ATF4 all over
Nice.
my workbench.
Perfect.
We call you Exxon Valdez.
All right.
What
He's just
a-
leaking it everywhere.
Yep.
That voice, Bill, we appreciate the update on Big Red. I love
Absolutely.
And on the other side is my compadre in the Cadillac. Don, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, a shout out to your kid, man.
Yeah, first place,
How about
first time
that?
wrestling. Just blew through the tournament.
Yeah, he was in my weight class, and I
Yeah.
couldn't touch him.
No, he's amazing.
Ah,
So now we're really proud of him.
That's
he
awesome.
he when I say blew through, he had one really tough match, won it in overtime, 30 seconds. They go 30-second overtime, and he got the takedown and won it. And then after that, he kind of blew through it, and proud of him. Yeah,
that's awesome. I didn't mean to throw you out there real quick, but I
No,
like to
that's cool.
celebrate those.
little things,
Little
little
things,
family.
yeah.
Yeah, we were there all day. Unfortunately, my other son got in the crap bracket, and it ended up folding, and he didn't get to wrestle. But we're a fight family. Mixed
Yeah,
martial
I dropped
arts.
9 pounds so I wouldn't have to wrestle him.
Right,
and
ducked him. Yeah, yeah,
I ducked out of that.
yeah.
No, but it's good to be here. And
Yeah, it is. I
Yeah,
haven't
we
been
missed
here
you.
for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute since
I
you've been
know.
sitting in that seat,
I know.
and
So
I'm just glad to have you here.
yeah, me too. I'm glad I'm back.
Well, I got to hang out with. I missed both you guys last night.
Wait, hold on real
yesterday.
quick.
Yeah.
So last week we mentioned that a very special guest
Oh,
was
yeah,
supposed to be
yeah,
on
yeah.
the podcast, and I just wanted to address that real quick.
All right. Yeah.
I dropped the ball on that. May have this week. It was a kind of crazy week, but also she had a meeting tonight, Miss Holly Fowler. Giving a quick shout out to you. She had a meeting tonight, so she couldn't make it, and also I didn't really set it up as well. I had a crazy week with work and skiing and this and that. So we already talked about it. She's going to be on next week, so make sure you stay tuned. And Miss Holly is going to be on for next week's show.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about a little of OnX Off-Road,
Yep.
which, great things are coming out of that app.
Flex
Hey,
rocks
you-
and rollover.
Flex Rocks and
Oh my
Rollovers.
God! Did you guys watch?
Oh, yeah.
She's a bite-ass again.
Yeah.
Dude, that is crazy.
Dude, the first
They
day, I was shitting in my pants and I was sitting on a sofa.
I know.
So I
they
asked
said they
her
just
about
keep
it.
getting more and more
She's
badass.
like, it's wild. She was like, that's
How about
probably-
that? How about that Ultra 4 truck that's on there, dude?
Oh, yeah.
That thing is tearing it up.
I'm gonna tell you the whole lineup
Yeah,
is
so
way
stacked.
is tougher than.
It
that
was stacked.
Bronco is on
yeah.
the same level as that Ultra 4.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was killing it
Oh,
too. Poor Axel, man, he rolled his YJ again.
When the first day
Wait,
takes
you
out
mean
2
like-
upside down.
He kind of almost It was just like all of a sudden you're
Well,
just
he
like, oh.
flopped it a little. But
Oh,
that's
there.
the second time in like 1 year that he's flopped it.
Yeah, that wasn't that bad, though.
The first time was a lot worse. Yeah, it wasn't that
First
bad.
time was gnarly.
Well, he went over backwards, I think, if I remember. But yeah, I didn't even get to finish watching part 3 yet. I started tonight. And
So if you haven't already done this, do yourself a favor. And even if you're not into that extreme side, which I'm not, but it's fun to watch, go to Flex Rocks and Rollover.
our friend Marvin.
24 Hell and Back. We've had Marvin on the show.
We'll reach out again.
Yeah, we'll
have
him.
Up to.
We'll have him on. But you definitely want to check that out on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's available on YouTube, and they're putting it out in episodes, and the production level is
through
off the
roof.
charts.
Yeah, yeah. And that guy John, man, that guy is fearless.
But he rolled on the first day, right? Was he the one that rolled?
I think it was part 2 he rolled. I could be wrong, but
still,
it was right at the end of the one trail.
Yeah.
And so I think when I first got my JK, I had been talking to him on the Jeep. What was that forum that everybody was on years ago? I think it might have been.
Was it Wrangler? No.
Nah, it was just, I don't know. They had all the Jeeps on there. But anyway, I'd been talking to him. I'm pretty sure it was him. I have to maybe reach out and see.
Yeah. So go check it out. You won't be disappointed.
Wild.
You might just go, yeah, it's too much for me. That's more adrenaline than I can handle. But it's pretty amazing.
I would if I had the vehicle, I'd totally do that.
I'd be the one who
Let
had
me
the
repeat
winch
that.
hooked up to the back of it as I'm going down. Whatever.
If I had somebody else's vehicle that
Right,
could
there
do
you
that,
go.
I don't have that kind of money.
No.
Mm-hmm. So shout out to Slow Ride Company. So it's a 241 actually. It's a 2015 JKU with a 241 transfer case, and then it also has a male input.
Yeah, right. So there were
doesn't
two.
have the
So the
female,
3.8 had the female, the
Yep.
output.
Well, actually, there's some 3.6s that had a male output from the transmission to a female input into the transfer case, and now mine is actually the female
Right.
is a lot more common.
Right.
For some odd reason, the male is not common whatsoever from what
Well,
I found.
because that was the older. That was 07 to 11.
No, even on...
Unless it was. Well, no.
You guys just
because
made this really hard to edit.
Sorry.
Yeah. so this is.
We got real technical real quick.
They
Female,
used
male.
it because they use the same one. The 07 to 11, and then also the manual is the same.
Right, so they used... Right, but...
It doesn't matter.
So
Take it
up in
offline.
Up in a 14, they used...
Take it offline. We just went down a rabbit hole that was.
Sorry, you just cut all this out.
Yeah, but we have people watching too.
I know, but they're enjoying this shit.
Let us know, and then.
Well, anyway, look, we said transfer cases were going to be a topic coming up.
Yeah, coming up.
So
Let's save it
there
for
is a
that.
lot.
And how
For
that how that
Yeah,
works.
Yeah.
That'd
That may
be-
be a
that'd be good.
two-part.
That'd be good.
Back to the show.
Back to the show. I love it. I might try to edit that and make something out of that little jingle there.
Yeah, there's what you wrap it up with. All right, what else we got?
I don't know. I've thrown the notes away. I just hit
Squirrel.
literally just throw them in the trash. Yeah, I don't even know.
A lot of catch up, man.
Oh yeah, well we're doing some catch ups. Oh,
It's been a wild week.
I got to hang out with my Jeep Club yesterday. We missed both of you.
Well,
We did some axe throwing,
Yeah.
I was skiing.
I was at Zandy's steak shop, got to be honest.
eating, skiing, hurting my shoulder,
Lots of
and
skiing.
drinking.
I
Yeah.
was lots of
I
skiing.
really seriously got to start watching Facebook closer.
You do.
And drinking, and skiing.
It was a good time. You know, it was 10 degrees, so there wasn't a lot of hanging out by the Jeeps at all. But
Cold.
yeah,
It was cold skiing.
we got to go in, throw some axes, drink some brew, and shout out to what was the axe throwing? I think it was Jack's.
Jack's.
Is that what it was? Yeah.
Yeah, Jack's axe throwing.
Axe and Ale House.
Anybody get hurt?
No one got hurt. I mean,
that's good.
some sore shoulders
Yeah.
today
Yeah.
and everything, but it was a good
So
time.
how did you do?
You know, it's funny because when
Did
we
you
first
stick
get
it in
there,
the wood?
I couldn't get it to stick in the wood at all. I was like, well, never up, never in, you know. And then once we got into competition mode,
Angry Jacks.
I was missing that. Angry Jacks. Shout out to Angry Jacks axe throwing. They were great. The folks there that were helping us out were great. Gave us great techniques.
Yeah.
Taught us games, and even kept score for us. I mean, it was.
You know, we should cut
awesome.
log for when we go camping to do that.
We should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But now I got the technique down.
We should just get a stump too.
We have those.
Not a play stump.
Yeah, and you just paint it with rings, and we're in. All right. I don't know. We lose. We have to set a limit where we can't do it anymore.
That's a bad idea.
Because
I was just
we're real dangerous.
I was like being facetious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if it's facing the street at a trailhead,
right?
Not even that. It just ends up somebody's getting one in the foot.
Somebody's getting one in the foot, or one in the tire, or it's just.
Yeah, I was.
We're nixing that after cooler heads. That was
a little sarcasm that really.
Yeah,
didn't come off like that, I guess.
But it was good to be out with the Jeep Club, and that's one of those winter things that you don't necessarily have to do. You don't have to be in a Jeep to do. You can drive your Jeep there with the people you already know and meet new people. It was a good time. It was a real good time. Reviews. We need them. They help out. Mm-hmm. But we did get one on the Facebooks.
Wow. The Books of the Faces. The
Books of the Faces from Keith Schultz. And he recommends the Jeep Life podcast. Wow. Yeah, so I really appreciate that, Keith. He says, great listen. When I decided to get another Jeep JKU, I found these guys on Stitcher. So you can find us on all of the platforms.
Any and all.
I don't know that there's...
Spotify, Apple, Pandora, Stitcher, Apple, Pandora, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Apple, Spotify.
You're missing one.
Which one?
Stitcher.
But no, we appreciate that, Keith. And go ahead and wherever you get your podcast, give us a review. It really helps us out.
I mentioned YouTube too.
You did mention YouTube, and
you should hit that subscribe button too.
Yeah, because we put all kinds of content out there. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. We're looking for a videographer intern. So if you're a video guy that wants to wants to help out, when we record on Sunday nights and go with us to our events and help document some of that stuff, we'd appreciate it. Reach out, info@jeeplifepodcast.com, and I will be putting out all the kind of requirements and all that stuff this week.
All right. Do you have 2 legs, 2 arms,
Do
2
you have a
able
pulse?
eyes, a pulse, and
a finger to push the power button?
Yeah. Can you hold a camera and know what a frame is? That's all we care about.
I don't want somebody that just straps a GoPro to their chest and walks around us. I would like for someone serious to do this.
I said know what a frame looks like.
Yeah, I want serious, because they can build their portfolio using. We can give them all kinds of great content.
Can we set the bar low and ask for high?
I am asking for high and accepting low.
Yeah, we just need somebody.
Yeah, somebody.
We just need help, and not just in.
It's not just
personnel
videography.
I know, right? We do need help. I mean, we're just 3 guys trying to do our best. We could do more if we had 2 more sets of hands.
Yeah, for sure.
Or just 2 more hands. That's 1 set.
Oh yeah, 1 set of hands. 2 hands. Only needs 2 hands.
We're asking for 2 sets. That's a lot.
I know it is a lot. But we'll reach out to us. Let us know. We'll get back with you. But also send reviews in. It helps out a ton.
info@jeeplifepodcast.com.
Yes. And we even have a voicemail if you want to call that out.
I don't know that number.
484-891-1172. We'll do that at the end. It's always in the show notes. Mm-hmm. Don, you brought us a product review.
I did. And we got some pictures we can throw up, right?
All right, I'm going to do it before if I can find it. So you start talking about it.
Is this a product review or service review?
Service review, right. So I had some dings in the Jeep door.
And some dents. And Danny's.
So I actually called a friend of mine, Andy Shanley. We actually had his son on the show.
Oh yeah.
Jake Shanley at the last Tech Day, and what he does is paintless dent repair. So he was able to go in and behind the kind of between the glass and the door, and he has some tools and he heats it up and literally work these dents out. So the beauty of this is that you don't have to have the vehicle painted again. So where it would have cost literally $700, $800, $900 to have it fixed, it cost a third of that.
Well, nice.
You know, so
yeah. So on the screen now, I have the before.
Right.
And I didn't even know you had this dent.
Right.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty substantial. How did you get this dent?
Mm.
Oh, I'm not going to talk.
My secret.
Because I don't remember seeing this out on the trail.
No.
All right. So
that was.
I'm not gonna dig any further.
Door dings, maybe.
Door dings. Yeah, it's a big ass door.
So, so anyway, you know, and that's the beauty of it. But now it's funny because I was talking to him, and of course he was cool enough to talk to the kids while he's doing it. But it really, truly is an art form because you have to know right where to put the tool, you know, which tool to use, and when he was done, you couldn't tell a difference.
All right, so I just blew it up a little bit.
Right.
Hopefully, you can see that on the screen. But it's a substantial dent. I mean, that's a nice, almost a gouge.
Yes. Yep.
Going top to bottom. All right, now I'm going to try to figure this out and get us the after on here.
So, and while he's doing that, we'll post in the show notes Andrew's contact info,
All right.
but it's Dent Master Paintless Dent Repair. And if you Google that, he's right in East Greenville. He's local. He can come out and do the repairs at your house. You can, make arrangements with you. Great if you get those dings on the trails and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, this is such a great service. It
Yeah,
really is.
I have one that I might need
Yeah.
him to
Yep.
look at. Now, is
One.
Dent Master, is that a nationwide service or is that just local?
I think it's. I can't really honestly answer it.
Yeah.
I know he owns the business. I don't know if it's a
Okay.
franchise or anything
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. But
that
I
was
know
kind of
he
where I was
owns-
going
right.
with that.
I'm not sure, but I know he owns that. And like I said, he does a phenomenal job. So if you have any kind of dings at all and you want to get them taken out, this is the way to go because you don't need paint afterwards.
Yeah, and I think everybody online is saying the same thing. Wow.
Yeah.
And that picture does. I mean, I can't even see
Right.
where it was.
No, you really. So in person with the light he had on it,
Yeah.
you could see kind of a little bit where he worked it on the one side.
Yeah.
But there's no way like that light is made for finding flaws. You'll never see it normally,
Right.
Out in daylight or even in my shop I can't tell.
Right.
And again, what could have been $1,000 repair was slightly less than half of that. And literally done in 2 hours, 2.5 hours.
Wow.
So I can't speak highly enough of him. His kid was great when I had him in class. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah, we enjoyed talking to him.
yeah.
It was the first year we were doing this.
Yeah. He's real laid back, cool guy. He does free estimates. And one of his pictures on his website is him working on a Comanche, and the other is him sitting up at the lookout at AOAA.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he walks the walk too.
He
right?
does. He's an off-road guy.
Yeah.
He's got an FJ, so, and I
Yep.
think they have a new JL, or maybe now it's a JK Rubicon on 35s.
All right.
So.
We are getting some. So it is a franchise, I believe.
Is it?
We are
Okay.
getting some that there is nationwide. So if that can happen near us,
Right.
other people can take advantage of it as well.
Right. Yeah.
So how long did it take? What was the time frame on that?
Literally 2 hours.
2 hours.
That's what. Yeah. I mean, he was there a little longer, but he was talking to students and stuff. But it literally was 2 hours. Maybe on the top side of him doing work.
Now, is this normally a thing where he'll come to you
Yep.
or you go to him?
No, he'll come to you. Yeah.
And that's amazing.
Yep. Like he does a lot of stuff for dealerships where he goes in and they get a used car and has a ding or whatever. They'll pay him to take it out, and So he comes in his Suburban, lifted Suburban with wheels on it, and ARB cargo box in the back, so with all his tools. So yeah, real organized, real cool, very professional. Sent a ton of people to him over the years, and I'm telling you, won't be disappointed.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to reach out.
Yeah.
I just have one little ding on the door.
I have one or two.
Yeah.
I have none no more.
None no more.
None no
That's how
more.
it works.
I don't know where mine is. It might be too low in the door.
It's not.
It's not.
It's not.
I don't know. I got to look at it again. But
your,
calm. I mean,
your issue is you have paint damage.
I've got paint damage in multiple places, but yet that Jeep still looks amazing.
You had serious paint damage.
Does look good.
Yeah, when it's all cleaned up.
It's scratched.
Yeah, I know. Don't remind me.
Just saying.
I cry all the time about it.
Just saying.
Well, that's awesome. That's a service like that it's irreplaceable.
It is, and the fact that he takes so much pride in what he does,
Yeah.
it really makes the business. I mean, he is truly an artisan.
Yeah,
It's not easy to do that.
no, and I would bet that patience is one of the virtues that you would
You
have to
nailed
have,
it.
right?
He said,
any of
yeah,
that.
he's like, you have to be completely,
because if you try to rush it,
you're gonna ruin it.
Right.
I would be like,
It's like sweet love.
I would probably pop it out total opposite, and then take a hammer and blow it back in, and before you know it, there'd be
it just did in,
yeah,
did out,
then
did
out.
in,
Yep.
did out.
There's a reason why I was a flat rate tech.
You gotta make sweet love.
I love it. So thanks for bringing that to us, Donna.
Absolutely.
That's pretty badass.
Thanks for
And it makes me
let me talk about him.
look good because I left the thing that I was going to review again this week out in the Jeep, and there's no way I'm going out in the
not
snow
tonight.
and getting it.
Yeah.
Is it Dent Master or Dent Masters?
It is Dent Master Inc.
All
Dent
right.
Master Incorporated of
All right.
PA.
Of PA.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. And
That's
his
awesome.
name is Andy Shanley.
Shanley.
Andy
Awesome.
Shanley.
Cool. Go see Andy. Or
Definitely.
have Andy come see you. Whatever. I like it. Thank you, sir. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about, since we didn't have our normal guest, we're going to,
Yeah, we'll talk about engines.
we're going to talk about
Things
engines.
that make us go fast.
Yeah, and I know nothing other than the fact that
Got
I turn it
6
on,
cylinders and you turn it
it
on.
goes.
Right.
I have assisted in
How many liters?
This is a 3.6,
Right.
so I've got that, but
What
there
does
are
that
different
mean?
sizes. So that's how much displacement.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
There we go. So you know half of a half.
half of a half.
Of a quarter.
So
Of like-
it has 2 watts on top of each side.
2 watts?
You know this.
Do I?
We've talked about this. Your daughter can answer this question.
Oh,
It has 2 watts on top of each side of the heads.
I don't know.
They're 2 long shafts that run on top of the. Okay.
I don't know.
Camshafts.
All right.
When you say camshaft.
I was, yeah, no. That's just, we
It's a
went as
joke.
far as I could go.
That was perhaps one of the creepiest things I've ever seen Billy do.
Yeah, his little cam
Shafts with the motion. I
Yeah.
feel like he just cast a spell over us or something.
I was like,
Yeah, you knew what you were talking
He
about.
just
Yeah.
he just like you know what he did? He casted the roller rocker
he did.
spell on us.
The
We're all,
roller rocker
we're all gonna
spell.
be replacing them now.
And but at the same time, I didn't want to say shaft while he was doing that motion. It just, it was creepy. It was
Yeah,
creepy.
a little bit.
All right, so tell me something about engines that
All
I
right,
don't
well,
know.
Let's start from the beginning, okay? We're not gonna get super deep here, but all car engines now run on it's 4 strokes. So your first
And fuel.
and fuel. So your first stroke, your intake valve opens up.
Yep.
Pistons traveling down.
Yep.
It pulls in
Intake
air,
stroke,
Yep.
as
It
this
pulls
is known
in
as.
air and fuel,
Mhm.
and then as it hits bottom dead center, bottom of the travel, it goes back up again, and that
So it
becomes your-
closes the valve just before it hits
right.
bottom
Thank you
dead
for
center.
reminding me. Yep. And then, a little before, but every car is actually different. Depends on the cam
Yeah.
profile and all that. But anyway, cylinder goes back up, compresses it,
A compression cycle.
right, and then right before top dead center, we fire the spark plug.
Ignition.
Right. So now I've got a flame front. Everybody thinks it's a big explosion. It just happens. It actually burns across the top of the face of the piston. And there's a really good, I don't know off the top of my head, but there's a really good YouTube video out there. If you just Google internal combustion engine.
Usually have like a plastic clear.
Yes.
top
And there's
on them.
some guys somewhere that did it really
Super
cool.
slow-mo.
Yes. But you can see it burn across the top of the piston. As it's burning across, because of the heat and expansion, it pushes the cylinder down, and that's your power stroke.
Yep.
Again, at bottom dead center, starts to come
Can't
back
do
up.
nothing much.
Nope, starts to come back up. And
Opens exhaust valve.
Correct, and it pushes it out.
Mhm.
So there's another key component to this, which is your crankshaft. Your crankshaft turns your up and down motion into rotational motion. Okay, that's the other
right.
key piece of this. You have your cylinder heads on top of the engine with your valves in them, your intake and your exhaust valves. Your camshafts operate those. And then above that, you have your intake where your air and fuel is mixed. Or if it's a direct injected engine, it's just air. And then we inject fuel into the engine, which we'll get into why they do that a little bit later. But and of course, on the sides, you have your exhaust manifolds.
Mhm.
So why I bring this all up is because an engine is nothing more than an air pump. The more air and fuel I can move in, the more I can move out, the more power I make.
With the
And
addition of spark.
with the addition of, the correct spark and all of that.
Mhm.
But basically, the more air and fuel you bring in, the more you move out. And years ago, when I say years ago, like when my dad was into, race cars and stuff like that, they would say there's no displacement for there's no replacement for displacement.
So the bigger the engine,
Faster you were going.
Right.
That certainly changed because we have engines now that, actually Chrysler is going to be replacing the Hemi with an inline turbocharged 6-cylinder engine.
oh,
Well, once
So-
you start force
Direct-
induction, basically you're increasing your displacement by increasing the pressure of the
Volumetric.
air.
Well, it's volumetric pressure.
Volumetric pressure going
right.
into the
Volumetric
motor.
efficiency as well
Yeah.
too. So
So
there's a lot of things.
basically displacement,
sort of.
kind
You're getting more in. Yep.
just more air.
So we've made some changes throughout the years. We've got variable valve
Mm-hmm.
timing. Different companies do it different ways. Honda has a different set of lobes on them.
VTEC,
Yep. And then Jeep actually uses. They move the cam.
VVT, variable valve timing.
Well, and it uses a phaser in the front of the
Right.
cam to retard and advance the cams. But ultimately, what I wanted to get into was making more power. How do you make more power? So
More fuel, more air.
more fuel, more air, and there's a couple different ways that we can do that. And we'll talk specifically about Jeep life, but the first thing that you can do is put a cold air intake on it. Now, I will tell you this: do not buy a cheap cold air intake, because if you look at them, a lot of them will come that are cheaper. You get the hose that connects it to the air filter to the throttle body, and then you have a cone filter that just sits out in the open, and there's no cold air. There's just warm air going in. So you need one that's encased.
okay.
So like the K&Ns, encase them in the corner.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember what Scott has. Anybody, you guys remember what Scott has on his?
So
His is totally encased too.
Arid or Airaid.
Is that what his is?
Well, there's a couple different brands, but Airaid has a fully encased. There is the AFE, which is a fully encased.
Right.
There is another different type of K&N that's fully encased. There is, I think, also Rugged Ridge has a fully encased, like...
Right.
So tell me why cold air?
Well, so
intake?
cold
So it's
cold
not-
air is more dense.
Let's rephrase this. It's not cold air.
It's
It
colder.
doesn't
It's
cool it,
cooler.
but it's
Right.
cooler than the engine.
Right.
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 So the
Is.
engine bay usually sits about 100 to 140 degrees.
Easily. Yeah.
Minimum.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
just kind of idle sitting at a stoplight.
Yeah.
So you figure as you're driving down the road and you're forcing air into the engine bay, you're putting air past what the radiator, so it's automatically heating that air to cool down the radiator before, which, you know, that cools your motor.
Yep.
So you're already heating that up to that air automatically before it hits into the motor at, you know, going from, say, 85 degrees outside to
110, 120 easy.
Oh, I would see $140, $150.
So, but and the honest to God truth is, you're not going to pick up a whole lot of power from just the cold air part.
5-6.
Yeah, and then the other part of it is the filter. So, and here's something that's really interesting. It's not really about the micron that they use for it. That's all about the same. In fact, oil bath filters don't quite flow as well. The bonus in oil bath is just that it's reusable. But what does increase is the surface area because you're using a cone filter, so you're able to draw more air in. And you'll get a couple, you know, more horsepower. They do sound cool, you know, because they don't have Well, you get a cool drone and stuff because of the factory.
Mm-hmm.
Factory vehicles have to meet a certain sound level, or they can't be sold in the United States.
Right.
So they deaden a lot of that intake sound. You know, an intake will kind of change that. But let's not forget what goes in must come out. So it's not going to help just throwing that cold air on there a whole lot. In fact, there's a couple videos on YouTube of guys losing power with just the cold air. You got to do the backside, the exhaust, too. So that's where pipes comes in.
Right.
So, you know, pipes exhaust is a little more free-flowing. Not a little more. In some cases, a lot more free-flowing. And so now I'm back to that original theory where if I can get more in and get more out, I'm going to make more power. Now, there are some things that you can do additionally. You can buy programmers. So like Super Chips is my favorite plug-in programmer. And you can go ahead and plug that in, and they have like maybe 7 different tunes. They have like an 87 tune, a 91 tune, a 93 tune. They have a crawl tune. And what that'll do is actually add a little more fuel.
Yeah.
And usually gives you a little more timing. If you really want to get into it, you can do like an HP tuner. And I sort of have a generic version of that at work. That's how I did mine.
Right.
In fact, I'm hoping this year to purchase an HP tuner. But you can go in and change things in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I changed my total advance. It's like max to the max. In fact, I don't think I told you guys, but I didn't realize this. I was in the shop playing around with it. It actually has afterfire. So it literally, I'll have to show you. When you snap the throttle closed, you know, it's got sparks coming out the back. But, you know, I've played with the cam timing with it.
Yeah.
Bye-bye Don's engine.
That's why it keeps burning up. It's spark plugs that are coming out the back.
There's little chunks of
tungsten.
Yeah, right. So... but yeah, it's got you know, for me, I'll just give a quick rundown, and I rarely talk in the public about this, but it's got I really messed with the cams, and I held the cams
43 degrees.
Well, I held the cams advanced a little longer, and then instead of a linear climb, it snaps them, and it kind of my philosophy is that it builds runner velocity. I took the red line out of it. There's really no red line anymore. It just runs out of fuel. I've got the injectors.
800 RPMs.
So the way I got the afterfire was I kept burning up spark plugs. So I added, like, they're maxed at wide open throttle. Well, no, the fuel injectors are trying to cool the cylinders back down because a leaner fire will run it.
Cool it.
Right, so I'm trying to, I'm doing a diesel theory. That's why they roll coal is to cool the cylinders down.
Yeah, he's just rolling spark plugs.
Right, I got to max that wide open throttle, and then the big part was I'm running. Total advance on an engine really never should be 43 degrees, especially on a variable valve timing engine, and it's at 43.5. So that'll get you some more power. Doing stuff
just
like that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But then the fun stuff comes in. Like, after that, Chrysler doesn't leave a whole lot on the table with those 3.6s. There's not a whole lot of power to be made there.
They're tuned pretty.
They're squeezed about as hard as you can get them. But if you supercharge or turbocharge it, they're getting the same amount of power out of a 3.6 that they are out of the small Hemi, the 5.7 Hemi.
Well, here we come, supercharger.
Yep. So superchargers and turbochargers work on the same principle. They actually they create pressure, but below that pressure, and this is like a big misconception, below that pressure, it creates a low pressure area in the face of the valve, which actually helps to draw more air in.
Pull more in, yeah.
Right. So, a turbocharger runs on exhaust gases. So we have it mounts to the manifold or close to the manifold. Exhaust gas goes through a turbine, turns a turbine. The other side of that turbine is another one that's connected to the intake stream, literally pulling air and forcing it into the engine. And they can change, how big they are.
98 millimeters.
Yeah, it's huge. That's like diesel stuff.
The size of like your head.
Yeah. That'll
That would
swallow.
suck.
That'll swallow a small child.
Yeah, it will.
So, seriously, you could probably use that for a chipper shredder. Now, superchargers are kind of the opposite. They
Run
work
off the crankshaft.
right, and so supercharger draws air in, and a
Forces
screw type, like what's on the Slade, actually it has two screws that roll the air down between them, compressing and forcing it in.
Or vortex supercharger, which is a centripetal.
Right, that's what RIP
centrifugal.
uses.
Yeah, RIP uses, which is
Right.
basically a
Turbocharger driven by a belt.
Charger side
Right.
driven by a belt.
So, do you turbocharge or do you supercharge? Well, here's the deal.
Both. You know why? Because
What?
then you get low end and high end at the same time.
Well, or you could use compound turbos, where you use a really small turbo
Yeah,
to spool up the
small.
really big
Yep.
turbo.
Yeah, that
So-
works too.
But no, so
We have ways.
in a automotive application, normal automotive car on the road kind of thing, I would say turbocharger every time because it's free horsepower.
Yeah.
We're not losing any. It actually takes on a NHRA top fuel dragster, it takes 1,000 horsepower just to spin the blower on it.
And they're 12,000 horsepower vehicles.
Right. So it takes 1,000 horsepower. So it does take a little bit of power to make it. There's a little bit of a residual loss. You gain it back, but it, you have to pay a little bit for it. But I'll tell you the big thing for off-roading, and I've gone back and forth. Like, I love turbos. Problems with turbos are
They lag.
they do lag a little bit, and then they come in kind of hard. It's really hard to get them to smooth out. It takes a lot of tuning. Superchargers are very torquey and linear, the way the boost comes in. So if I were for my Jeep, as much as I like turbos, I would supercharge.
So for me, when I look at it for off-roading, if you're building an off-road rig and you can put a small turbo in, tiny turbo,
Yeah.
then it's more reasonable because you're only running low end. But
Right.
the problem is you overspool it really quickly.
But you also still have, it's not a linear curve.
Right.
So they're so hard to get linear curves out of
Exactly.
them, but that's why you don't see a whole lot of turbos on Jeeps. You see mostly superchargers. And a supercharger is easier to control too. You have more control with a turbocharger, but superchargers are kind of easier to manage.
It's more flat line.
Yeah,
right?
and it's just, there are a lot of things that will affect turbochargers. And
Now, when we're talking about off-roading, a lot of times we're running a little bit warmer in the engine bay because air's not flowing through.
Right.
Does that impact that supercharger or turbo in any way?
A lot of good boost products will have what's called an intercooler. And ultimately the intercooler, everybody thinks it's there to charge the air to make the air cooler and denser. It's actually not. What it's doing is lowering combustion temperatures. And the lower you get those combustion temperatures, the more boost you can run. So that's part of it. So definitely if you're going to buy one, like I think Sprintex sells a kit without one. I would never do a boosted engine without at least a
Well, the 4.0s, it doesn't matter.
yeah. So
It's the only kit they sell that doesn't have an intercooler.
isn't no, I think the JK, or at least at one time they had an option for JK without an intercooler.
They use a water to water, or
Is
water
it
to
now?
air.
At one time, I'm almost sure you could get one because it was like the cheapest on the market. But again, make sure it's got an intercooler, whether you turbocharge it or supercharge it. And then there's little things you can do, like you did Rip's coil packs, but you said you didn't.
I didn't notice much.
No, and
Yeah.
maybe it makes a difference in a supercharged vehicle.
So you can also put, throttle controllers, this, that, and the other thing, which gives
That's
you
a big yes.
the
Like a super chips
misconception
and stuff.
of more power.
Right.
You don't gain anything. It's just how the power's delivered to you.
It reduces a torque management program,
Right.
or totally
eliminates it
Right.
and throws it out the fucking window.
Right. So a lot of new cars are
lights.
drive by wire, and basically when you snap the throttle
Just
doesn't snap open.
Right,
Open,
right,
close.
Right.
Open,
So the
close.
throttle, what it does is manipulate it so that it snaps the throttle open as fast as you can hit that pedal.
Right.
But with that comes, and anything else,
Dude,
superchargers, turbochargers, broken parts. You know, if you're not
And
careful.
hey, guys, just remember, it takes a second and a half for that engine to catch up of how much air's going into it.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. You can throw that throttle body way open. Doesn't matter. Still takes a little second to go up from 500 RPMs to 1,000 RPMs.
And when I first started advancing off-roading, I was having trouble managing that because I would be pretty hard on it, but I would go slow to get to hard, but then I would back off, and that's when it would catch up to
lurch,
me,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where you find the happy medium that it's not always exact response of your foot,
Right.
but more you have to figure out.
And that's what the crawl tunes that Super Chips has that you put on really just super delays the throttle.
Yep.
And kind of smooths it all out, and actually they boost idle a little bit too.
Right, so it sits a little bit higher. So when you're in gear, it just uses that gear.
Right, it's called
do
making
that.
the Jeep work for you.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
So you're not doing all the work.
Awesome. That's a kind of a great overview of how the engine and in our world and it almost doesn't matter what engine it is.
They're all working the same principle: air in, air out. There's
Yep.
just some different, direct injected, non-direct injected, overhead valve, overhead cam. But they all work in the same principle.
Exactly. And we do have other master classes coming up that are going to dig in
Yes.
a little more
Yes.
in depth in some of our stuff. So look forward to that. Thanks again, guys, for filling in those blanks for me and for our listeners. One last battle of the brackets. Here we go. This is for the championship.
Woo!
Yeah. Yeah. This will be Quadratech on the east side of the bracket. Truck Light on the west. Head-to-head competition. I don't really have a dog in this fight. Actually, I do have a dog in this fight.
You got a big dog.
I got a big dog in this fight.
So what did you guys do? I didn't listen. Shame on me. I didn't listen to last
Yeah.
week's episode. So
Okay.
you guys did JW Speaker and Quadratech.
We did.
And we voted Quadratech.
Yep.
Quadratech went through.
Very good reason.
Why?
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 Customer service, man.
Is it as
That
good a
was-
light
that-
as is it as good a light as
Oh,
JW
yeah.
Speaker? Why?
Oh, yeah.
Is it because it is a
The
JW?
speaker, absolutely.
We may have let that cat out of the bag. Just saying.
Well, it's some of them, not all
Some
of
of them, not
Right.
But
So, but you can buy a Quadratech light
Mhm.
that meets the same specification as JW Speaker.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And the customer service doesn't suck ass.
well, that was, Quadratech's customer service is great.
It's awesome.
And so
Yeah.
that kind of tilted the.
Yeah.
Now, today, I don't think there's any fingers on the scale yet. We've got Truck Light, who is probably the birth of the genre,
Well,
if you
yeah.
will, right? They're the granddaddy
Mm-hmm.
of
They
the
hold
the
all
headlight.
all the cards.
They definitely, and people talk about them like
Right.
they're the stuff.
mm-hmm.
I gotta tell you, those Quadratech lights, the beam pattern is spectacular, and I think just on pure looks alone, they look.
Which one are we talking
really,
about? Are we talking about the
We're
light?
talking about
the
we're
JW,
talking
their
premium
premium.
of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're talking the
Okay.
you
All
know
right.
the biggest gonads of both sides. Here you
Okay.
go, showing it off.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Here it is.
Yeah, and so when we're talking price, both are not cheap.
No,
No.
We're looking at.
Is the price
6, 7
comparable? Did anybody check?
Well, it is. No matter what, they're
Right.
we're
guess that
looking
stuff
at
is always
$600-$700 headlights.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's
So, all right, Terry, go ahead. Make your point for what you're gonna.
well, when we're talking about that, it is they're not cheap. Neither one of them
No,
are the
right.
one you're going to buy if you have $19 in your bank account. You're
Right.
not going to go out and buy that. And it's interesting because truck light is the industry standard
Right.
for so many years, and Quadratec's private label is really starting to ramp up and and kind of catch up with the industry, if you will.
Okay.
And they're doing it in a big way.
Okay. So what?
Well, I'm pulling up right now headlights, and I want to see.
So real quick,
we already have a vote from our audience.
The market on headlights in general has become so saturated.
It's crazy
with just Chinese
I know.
junk, this, that, and the other thing. So it's not just like we're talking about simple headlights here. You can go on Amazon and get the cheapos. You can go on wherever and get the cheapos, or the midline too.
Yep.
We're talking about the bee's knees heated headlights from Quadratec, LED heated headlights. We're talking, truck light. They have a very comparable,
Yes,
heated
LED,
LED headlight.
Yep.
They're both on the same level. It's a little bit different pattern. I think it comes down to a lot of what's your personal choice. What's the color?
No, I agree.
Color,
Well, color should be not that. So by law, they all should be white.
Well, yeah, but sometimes you get a little bit more of a amber white, and sometimes
maybe.
you get more of a white white.
Right.
So do you like that more,
right.
I don't know, tannish white?
Right.
I don't know, it's called that way, or do you like that bright white?
Right.
Blind your eyes out white. So that's one thing.
But I know like that as far as color goes,
they are pretty much the same.
I was going to say because he was behind me tonight, and they look just like the ones because I have truck lights.
Yep.
And you have
I have the JW
JWs.
speakers. Yeah.
So that's the same.
So when we're looking at this, the truck light 7-inch round heated LED has a $830 MSRP. You can find them for between $650 and $830.
Right.
So in that $700 range.
Sure.
And the Quadratec premium heated LED headlights, you're looking about $600.
It's a little bit cheaper.
A little bit cheaper.
So $600 to $700.
Okay.
So I would think they're almost when you're in that
They're
neighborhood,
about
it's almost comparable, right? Because you've committed yourself to
but
having
I would still say
good set of
Quadratec
headlights.
is still a tad bit cheaper.
A tad, $50 to $100 cheaper.
Right.
Yeah.
And $50 to $100 is
That
that's
makes
a good
a
amount of money,
difference.
yeah.
That can make a difference.
That's a case of beer and a half too.
So okay, what are you thinking, guys?
Well, I'm thinking durability too. I want to talk a little bit about that because truck light's been in the industry for a really long time, and they've got a reputation in the industry of
No doubt.
staying power.
But so does the top of the line Quadratec light. I mean, JW speaker. Although early on they had some problems with them being finicky.
Well,
But I think a lot of that's been
LED technology has changed immensely, and both have bought into that.
right.
So here you go. Truck light is more of a OE style headlight.
Well, the LED high-end heated, it looks very similar to this guy. I had it up just a second ago, and I got rid of it. Here you go. No.
So that was a lot of. You're gonna have to edit out all that
Quiet space.
Yeah.
So truck light has more of an OE style upper lower, high beam low beam, where the Quadratec is more of a JW speaker look, where it has a projector.
All right.
Yep.
Let me throw my vote out there and
All right.
why.
All right.
Okay.
Do it.
I've worked with both sets of lights.
Yep.
I would say that both sets of lights are incredible lights. Customer service at Truck Light seems to be good, just like it is at Quadratec. However, I think you get a Quadratec, their Highline light, a little bit cheaper, same quality, and $100 makes a difference. But also, that's our local business. So, I've got a lot of friends that work there that I care about. And that's enough for me to say, I don't care if I was in love with truck lights, I would buy Quadratec lights.
All right.
That's
All
my
right.
vote. I'm going to go
I hear you.
Quadratech.
All right. So Quadratech it is.
Quadratech it is based on the fact that it's a local company. I like the company. I've got a lot of friends that work there. I know a lot of people that work there, and everybody works really hard to keep that place going, and that's worth something to me. Because as far as the lights go, other than the dollar amount, I
Yep.
don't know how you would choose.
All right. Bill, what you got? Is this going to be unanimous?
Quadratech.
All right.
Quadratech.
We've got votes coming in
Coming in from us.
from our
I saw that.
from our listeners.
Yep.
We've got, and then I'm going to throw mine for very similar reasons as yours, Don. I mean,
for
Quadratech.
all intensive purposes, we've got family working there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So Quadratech it is. Interestingly enough, when we started this
We
like
had no
6 years
idea.
ago,
Yeah.
I would not have bet
No,
on this.
well,
on
so
this.
I purposely set the bracket up with Quadratech and
knew.
Amazon.
You knew.
Well, yeah, that
It
was
gonna
that
come
was
down.
right. That was almost an easy.
Right,
Whoever
right.
got Amazon
Right,
was going
right.
to be
Well,
the
yeah.
easy.
I
way
didn't
in.
think they would quite make it to the end until I got some inside information about the JW speaker thing, and
Yeah.
then
Sorry.
so
Yeah, so that was awesome. Congratulations to Quadratech, and
they're the big winners,
big winners. We're all winners here at the Jeep Life Podcast.
and all our friends are too.
You know where else you can be a winner?
Where?
Patreon.
Head over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button because we are having a giveaway for a Jeep Life Podcast prize pack when we hit 750 subscribers.
Yeah.
We just hit 679.
Oh, we're
So we're
getting
getting
close.
there.
We're
climbing
getting there.
slowly but surely. So make sure you go hit that like and subscribe. Also, you can find us at
You can find us at Linktree.
anywhere. Damn
Right.
it!
You just have
Google
to just Google us. Right,
right,
exactly.
Right.
But our Linktree has everything, and we're going to update our Linktree because I want to put our partners on
Yeah.
Linktree as
So
well.
I got to do that
Yeah.
shit.
But Linktree, so linktr.ee/Jeep Life Podcast. Go there. If you like what you hear, give us a sponsorship from Patreon. We'd appreciate it. This stuff isn't free, but we love doing it. So
Yeah,
we'd love your
absolutely.
support.
Yep.
Man, it's a great night tonight.
We added some stuff on Patreon this week too.
Oh, yeah,
we,
new
we-
content,
We
new
added some
content.
new content. I'm going to get back on that, and penciling out some time for that. So we got a couple things
Cool.
coming up in the
I love it.
pipeline.
I love it. Keep it coming. Anyway, we're next week. Tune in next week. We got Holly Fowler back with us She's not in the studio. I wish she was in the studio, but she's not.
Awesome.
But tune in with her.
Should be loving the snow wheeling, man.
I know she would.
She
would.
eating this up.
Be safe out there. Here's a big Jeep wave to you, everybody. Have a good night. Woo. All right. Good show, guys. Thanks. Hey, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight and tuning in as always. You make our day so much better.
It's tracking straight
But
over
isn't it supposed to turn to rain?
I don't think it's not looking like it
Yeah.
anytime soon.
Yeah, be safe out there, everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Tracking
You're
right
the
over
best.
us.
Oh yeah. We're gonna get hit.
Thanks, Dave.
All right. Have a good night, guys. See you soon.